There we go.
Here
There's
we
the
are.
man.
The man,
Dude,
the myth, the
that
legend.
yes, that's right. And that beard is becoming more and more of a legend by itself. You're gonna have to name it. Have you named it?
It's the beard. Fear the
Oh, just
beard.
beard. Just beard.
Fear the beard. Fear the beard.
Beard. Dude, I have a friend, his last name's Beard. Okay. And when I lived in Portugal, that's all I called him. Beard.
Oh,
That was his
really?
name. Yeah, never had a beard, but that was his last name. So I just always call him Beard.
It
Nah.
was getting nice and thick and full, and then it was getting too much. And so I told my barber lady, I was like, "Hey, let's trim a little bit off." And we got a little too zesty. But yeah, I've got a look I'm going for, and I'm hoping it's here by December.
That's right. It's
Yeah,
only a few months away, dude. It's only a few months.
it's a long time away.
With
It's a
that
long.
attitude, it is. Man,
So
it
sick of
can't
the
come any
summer.
faster for you, can it?
I'm done. I'm good with summer. We're out.
What does your license plate say?
Summer sucks, not Smasher sucks. SMR, summer sucks. Come on, people, get with
That's
it.
that's right. Dude, we got a couple good people coming in, hanging out with us. I'm stoked for tonight, dude. This is the first time going live for quite a while. Ooh, Nick Reedy comes in and says, "Howdy, howdy."
Oh,
Back to you,
Nick,
Nick.
boy, yeah, he was just lighting me up just a minute ago.
Uh-oh. Well,
Oh yeah.
it's always good stuff with you. Nobody says anything bad about Kris. Nobody.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. I'm sure I've got to
Yeah.
have haters out there. Man, haters make the world go round, right?
Yeah, hey, you know what? Any type of exposure is good, or is exposure, right? So you can take it well,
Good or
and
bad. Yeah.
good or bad, it's good. It's exposure, so you might as well keep running with it. We got Top Dog. That's awesome, dude. What's in the background? So real quick, Prince. Look at this, Prince Smasher. Look at that. He wants to know what's in the background. We got all these different
Uh, let's see here.
organs.
Well, we've got this is Matt Ince and I. This is one of the bigger drops I ever did with Matt Ince and I. That's when I was at the let's see, hold on. Let's see. Oh, right here. That was when I was up at the high school. That was when I was
Oh,
high school in
nice! You got that
Alaska.
up. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And then I've got all the Boondocker videos. And then I got this picture right here of the kids that I met in Alaska, Ben Burke and I, all the kids waiting at in the high school, and then my cover of Sledheads magazine. Let's see, where did I
Wow.
go? Right here, right there. I've got that framed, and it's just my wall that my wife's kind of helped me put together, and then all the videos I've been in. I think I'm missing a couple Boondockers. I've got Team Summit up there. I've got it all, man.
Dude, that's awesome. I love seeing like you're just living the life and having so much fun, and you can remember it and look at it every single day going to that room. Like I love that, dude. You got to keep reminding yourself of all the wins that you've had in your life. That's what I love about you, dude. You just keep crushing it. And I think this is what helps you dominate for sure.
Trying, man. I've definitely lost a few steps. I know that. Over the years, I look back at some of like that picture of Matt Ince and I right there, and the day was not a good day. I mean, it was a good day, but the snow wasn't great. And if we were to pull up to that drop again, no, I
No,
wouldn't do it, man. Like, no, hell no. Like, I don't know what the hell we were thinking. I wanted to be in the video, so I was like, yeah, I'll hit that. Woo.
sure. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear that. Like you hear that so often with that crew, the Boondockers crew. Like you want to be in the video, you got to do something crazy. Like it's kind of like the rite of passage. You just push yourself until they say no more, or they
Yep.
say you're good enough. But a
And I
lot of
think
times,
I
I've
think
heard
I think
multiple stories
times
of
have
saying no
changed.
more.
I think
Really?
times have changed though. Yeah, just because everybody can drop. Now it's come to the tree riding. I mean, like just some of the guys, the way that they're doing the hop overs, and all the stuff that Caleb's
Sure.
doing. What Brant's still doing. Matt Ince, what he's doing. I mean, there's a lot of good up and coming riders. I mean, I ride with a couple of kids around here that are really good. It's just a different way. You look at Michael Jordan and the way he played basketball, and now you look at the way that basketball's changed and the evolution of sports. In that basketball scene. And then you look at snowmobiling and the way that dirt bikes have changed. Everything's just kind of changed. And I think I'm just stuck in my old ways. The whole yeehaw riding or Yahoo riding, it's just not my style. I'm just out there, just have a good time and push myself to the to my abilities, and that's just the way I want to live it. You know, I'm not too much into the other style of riding. I don't want to change my style of riding too much.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually one of the questions they brought up was what drives you to keep riding? Like you're in your 50s, so what keeps you drive? Like what's your drive to keep riding this way?
A lot of comments from like friends, family, like when are you going to give it up? Don't you think you're kind of old? Um, is the risk worth the reward?
All the
You know,
negativity, you want to show them.
I just think just because you know I've hurt myself so many times, but I don't want to give up. Like you know, I thought that I was getting kind of into my career, snowmobile career, and doors just keep opening, and I'm gonna keep walking through them. I'm gonna take every opportunity. You know, I'm gonna keep doing this as long as my sponsors will have me, and I still have fans or people that want to follow me. And if I start to lose that, then you know I don't want to be the guy that stuck around too long and warmed his welcome. But I don't want to quit, man. It keeps me young. I enjoy meeting new people. I enjoy getting out there and riding with people. You know, it's just so much fun to go and explore. And if I get my butt kicked here and there, that's okay. And hey, you know, like I tell everybody, I'm 50 years old. So if someone younger than me beats me, well, you just beat a 50-year-old man with a fake hit. Now, if I beat you, you just got beat by a 50-year-old man with a fake hip. So, you know, either way, it's a win-win for me. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
for
It's a
sure.
win-win.
I love that, dude. I love your enthusiasm. It's like you just give it your all, no matter your age, no matter your conditions. You give it all. Keep see, Kel Vu said,
Kale,
"Keep it, man." Right?
yeah, him and his brother are great, man. I had a good time with them up at Sled Film. Those two, I've always wanted to go ride with them, and I think that's the way I want to go now. Is you know, I've had so many offers to go out and ride with people, and I think that now is my time to go out and kind of take that. I went to Oregon to ride with a buddy, and what a great time! I mean, what a
Good.
solid kid. Like, yeah,
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 there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of like new up and comers. There's a lot of really good riders coming up, and I love it. I for the longest time, dude, I was thinking that our industry was dying. I was like, man, it sucks. Our industry's dying. Nobody's buying sleds. Nobody's doing this. And now, as sad as it sounds, COVID has really helped. COVID
oh yeah,
has really increased because you can't buy a bike, you can't find one. Granted, manufacturing, right? But when
yeah,
it hits the floor, it's gone. Sleds the same way. Side by sides, like people are not able to keep the inventory like they used to. It's incredible. And so more and more people are riding. You got the manufacturers like Skidoo dropping the new younger sleds or smaller sleds. So we're
yeah.
gonna hopefully start seeing more younger riders, individuals like, for example, maybe some younger frame or smaller framed or even women that are timid of riding like a 600 or even the 800 or 850 now, right? They may want to hop on those smaller sleds because they are going to be
Right.
able to learn on them, and they have a capability of progressing on those at their rate rather than fucking an 800 or an 850 and you know killing themselves on it.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, the industry is changing with smaller sleds, shorter tracks. Just the style of riding has changed. You know, it was getting into the big mod sleds. You know, and you still have people that are into that. But you know, you look at where Polaris has gone, and people want to buy the 146 and the you
Mhm.
know just the smaller sled, and everybody's just into that style of riding, which is awesome. I mean, you know, progression keeps it alive. Otherwise, it just gets stagnant after a while.
Yeah, yeah, no, it really does. I want to go through a couple of these comments real quick. I'm not leaving anybody behind. I know we're excited to be here. We're already 10 minutes in. So underscore Drennan, we love Smasher. Absolutely, we do.
That's
We love.
that's my brother's wife, my sister-in-law. That's so
Oh,
funny, you know, that
nice.
they're
Oh
watching.
yeah, you got
Yeah,
family here. Very good.
from Texas, from Texas.
Oh, that's too bad. Texas, it's too far away from the snow.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and I see snowmobile Stig Chris Johnson just joined. I love
I,
giving that guy a hard time. You should see his sleds. You want to talk about an ugly sled? You'll get a comment from that.
dude, I love. Oh, I got a story to tell you in just a sec. All right.
Okay.
Quaid, Asher, love seeing you at Edmonton Snow Show. Man, I gotta get up there. I've heard it's a riot.
Oh, it's so much fun. It was one of the more fun shows. I only went for a year. It's really a lot of work, and it's kind
Yeah.
of a hassle to get in and out of there. And then you know with just DVDs dying off, you know everything's gone social media. But Yeah, it's a great show. You should go, man. The
No,
people
I've
up in
heard.
Edmonton are
I
oh
think
they're crazy about snowmobiling. They're crazy.
yeah, I love them. I talk. If you haven't noticed, most of the a majority of my guests are from Canada, and I love it because they're so hardcore with all action sports. They are just animals up there. I
Yep.
love it. And they'll talk to me, so I'm happy about that. Let's see. CLS Customs. What's good? Action Sports Club. Welcome, dude. Stoked you're here. TR Newton, 1982. I'm assuming that's his birth year. It's a lot older than
that's
me. A little bit younger than
that's
you.
my brother. That's my
That's your.
brother. That's my brother from Texas.
There's your brother. So you got your sister-in-law and your brother over here. Cool.
Yep.
Let's see. Got to make it happen. Keep an old. Sure wasn't too bad. Snowmobile Stig. Last year's wasn't too bad, right?
That's a guy. That's a guy I was just ripping on. He had
Yeah,
donuts all
yeah,
over his
yeah,
sled,
yeah.
and yeah, I told him he's not allowed to ride with me if he does a sled rep that bad anymore. That's just not okay.
Love it. Okay, so story real quick. I had Dustin from Climb. I had him
Hmm.
on the podcast. I haven't released it yet. I'm so excited. So you guys are hearing prior to his release, he joined me on the podcast, and it was so much fun. Had a blast talking to that guy, and he told me a story. He said, "Dude, this one day, just hanging out at home. I get a phone call, and I'm looking at my phone, and it's Smasher. I'm like, oh, so why is Smasher calling me? You know, it's late at night. He's like, what the heck? So he picks it up, says I answer it, and he's like, hello, and he said all I can hear on the other end was a sled going, and then ended. And he's like, oh,
Butt dial, butt dial.
yeah, 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 exactly. It was like a button. He's like, oh, well, I appreciate you sending me. And I told him the video that went one of the videos that went viral for you on IG was the SL, like when you first put the new pipes on from SLP, like that went crazy. And he's like, yeah, I think that was the day that he sent me, like he called me and it was a complete accident. He had no idea, but all I heard in the background was his sled just wailing. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Of course,
Yeah,
Smash.
that
Imagine you doing that, just calling your buddies and just holding it up, the phone up to the sled, making it go crazy, and
click.
there.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Click. So love it, dude. That's funny. Let's dive into some more questions for you. This one was very fascinating. So um, does Nate Zollinger ride better than you? He thinks he
No.
does. Asking for a friend.
I believe Trent sent that.
No, well, he could have. He could have sent that. He could have. But yeah, I saw that. I was
You
like,
know
that's
what?
good.
I've been with Zebros for I mean it's too many years. I was trying to think about. I think 11 years, maybe 9 years now. And I've always wanted to ride with Nate. We've always talked about it for years about
Mm-hmm.
riding together. And this is last year was the first time we finally rode together. It was really a lot of fun. Not too bad of a
Good.
rider for an older guy. For an older guy, he holds his own. He definitely. I think he's a lot older than I think he might be 60, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Snow King, Snow, or yeah, Hill Climbing King back in the 90s and or 2000s.
Oh, they were ripping. Yeah, his Arctic Cat was ripping, and it was a good time. It was really a lot of fun riding with him. I'm excited about this year. Hopefully, we get to do it again. That whole Zebros retreat thing was a blast. That was a good time. That was a really good time.
So having it being like the first time, you've been rocking Zebros though for years,
Hmm.
right? Why
Yeah,
why did it take so long for you to get over there and do that with them?
just never works out. I mean, it just with the Boondockers when we're filming and stuff. It's like every weekend there's something planned, and I was a full time coach with basketball,
Mm.
and so it was like every other weekend. I would travel, and then it's just hard to take a weekend and travel somewhere else when Gardner wanted you to go to Utah, or we had plans to go ride with Vogue, or we had plans to go to Idaho or do something like that. So to go and just to make it happen, and then with their schedule, with our schedule, it just never worked out. I mean, we talked about it for years, and then this year, Trent from Zebros was like, "Hey, we're doing this," and so we blocked off. It was me, Nick Reedy, Trent, Nate, Crazy Carl, Amy, and Jeremy from Sun Valley, and we just made it happen, and it was a good time. Beard's looking good. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, yeah. This is looking good. Dude, that's cool. I that was so one of the things that I love talking to athletes like you, like backcountry athletes, is like the relationships you guys get to build with these companies. Because when you start landing, like working with companies on another level, not just, oh, I buy your product and I just use your product, but I actually represent the product. Like you want to be someone you want to be a representative of them, and you look for that, building that relationship with these companies, then the relationship goes way further and you actually get to do uh, things that people just dream about doing. But it's interesting because people think it's always out of their reach and they feel that it never happened. But how much effort do you think it actually takes to get in and build these relationships?
Well, it depends on where you want it to go. For me, I wanted to actually have a relationship with people. Like Zebros, Climb, Vogue, SLP, Ice Age. They're giving me a product. So to talk to these people, just rather than not take a product and write it for a season and then call them and say, "Hey, I need another product," and then they give it to you. What I always felt like, what am I giving back? What is my value to them? I knew that back in when I was 32 to 40 years old, I knew that style of riding wasn't going to keep up. I mean, my back even then I was hurting, and then the dumb stuff that I was doing. So the longer that I kept up these relationships and building something, I was hoping that it would turn into something, more. I don't want to quit. Like a lot of people think that you need to give up this industry and move on, but this is something I really, really have a lot of passion and love for. So for me, I wanted that relationship, something with Nate, something with Dustin, something with Eric Vogt, something with Adam from SLP, so on and so forth. And so that was something that was important to me. I just didn't want to be another number, another statistic saying, another stat that was just like, hey, this is Smasher calling, he wants something, and then away I went. And the more that I could give back, the more value I had to them.
Yeah.
So and plus, I like to meet people. I like to meet people, and it just leads to other paths. I mean, I told you I had something big coming up this season. I
Mm-hmm.
still haven't announced it yet, but by my relationships with other people and me being who I am, it opened up more doors for myself rather than going, oh, he just wants the product or whatever.
Yeah. It's about those networking opportunities.
Absolutely.
Oh, dude. Hey, Dustin's here. Hey, Dustin, you just missed out. We just talked about the phone call that you got from Smasher a while ago. Uh, it kind of boggles my mind. No, I'm gonna say that it doesn't boggle my mind because I remember thinking that way. I remember thinking that talking and building these relationships with people was just so far out of my reach, and that I wasn't necessarily good enough to talk to them because one, I might not be the best writer, so I wasn't going to be able to hang with these type of people, or I didn't know how to actually interact with them. And as a brand, because you've created your own brand, basically. Like, oh man, just turn off my light. You've been
That's
creating
what.
your own brand as Kris Kaltenbacher.
Yes.
Um, Now, with that brand, you are getting people at snow shows, at heydays that are coming up to you. And do you feel that anybody's really building or trying to build a relationship with you?
Sponsors wise or fans
No,
wise?
people that are wanting to associate with you because
Oh
you're
yeah, like I mean, I wish I could remember everybody's name. Obviously, I can't remember everybody's name, but every year at Heydays, this will be my uh, eighth year going to Heydays, and every year, I get the same people coming up and wanting posters or meeting their kids, and it's cool. You don't think about that when I was 32 or whenever I came into the sled industry. I never thought, oh, hey, this kid, I'm going to see this kid, and now you see kids that are older and they're still following you. There's a kid from Colorado that still follows me, and it's cool to see them grow. James Finsterwald, look at how he's grown up. I remember meeting James and him coming riding with us, and he's one of Kim and Adam's really good friends, or my friend, and riding with him. And he was just a kid, and I was like, oh, this kid's not going to be able to keep up. And now you look at the way that kid's progressed, and holy cow! I mean, he could ride just as good as anybody. He rides a lot with Adam. The kid is a phenomenal rider. So to see people grow, it's very cool. It's like being a coach, like being a basketball coach. And I see the kids around that I've known for forever, and then they're like, hey, coach, what's up? So for the industry, it's very cool to see people or fans or people that are have moved on, but they're still coming to see us, and they still follow Boondock.
yeah, and they build that relationship with you on a different level. It's it's just it's just kind of interesting. Like in this digital age that we have, you have the opportunity to reach out to so many more people now and create those relationships that you've always wanted to. There's people inside of these industries that are human beings and they desire this type of relationship. Though, like Kris just said, you don't always remember the names, but you show up enough times and you actually show that you care, the name will start sticking. Just like this kid's name, right? This dad and this kid's name. They're sticking in your head. Now my name is starting to stick in your head. I've got your phone number. You know who I
This
am.
this is true. You finally got me ahead of you. You finally pinned me down, and and look now, I made another friend. You know, and that's
Exactly.
what it's about. It's that's what it's about. That's what I love. You know what? I've got a really cool story. I've got a
Yes.
really cool story. So I met this kid or this guy. Okay, so I was at Heydays, and I went to the bar to the Thunderstruck premiere, and there's a Chevy truck outside. I wish he was watching. And anyways, he was there with his buddies. Well, I was outside, and the Chevy emblem on this truck was neon green.
Hmm.
Well, and I was like, oh, that's just the ugliest, hideous color I've ever seen for a Chevy emblem. So I was talking trash about it. Okay, so this guy comes and walks up to me. He's like, hey, man, I heard you don't like my Chevy emblem. And I looked at him. And I was like, all right, this is going to go one of two ways. Either I can lie to you and we're going to, and you can kick my ass, or I'm going to fess up to it. And I said, I'm going to fess up to it. I said, you're right. I made fun of your Chevy emblem. I said, I'm very sorry. Like, that's way not cool of me. I'm nobody. I'm very sorry. So now him, his dad, and a bunch of his friends, I went and started talking with them, talked all night. Now he's a good buddy of mine. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go to Heydays, they want me to go boating, and I still have never forgot that. And he's like, dude, you need to let it go. But it still hurt my feelings that I made fun of someone because that's what he liked. And that's kind of where the human race seems to be, is rather than be happy that somebody's got an ugly green Chevy emblem that I don't like, but he loves the neon colored green. That's okay. So that was a good awakening for me. That was something that I've tried to carry on through, years of, hey, someone rides Arctic Cat. Ugh, I don't like Arctic Cat. But hey, good for them. They're still riding, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly. Dude, like I did the same thing, but I did it at a show where I was like, I want to talk to the pros. This is actually when I met you. It was at the first show I met you, and I was like, no, I want to talk to the pros. Somebody was introducing me to a salesperson from one of the dealerships, local dealerships, and I was like, well, is this guy a pro rider? And the guy's like, well, no, he's just part of the company. And I was like, well, I'm not really interested in talking to him. I've regretted that day ever since. I think about it monthly. I'm like, if I could go back and change that, I would. Because the thing is, if I would have changed that attitude that I had, and I would have been kind to him and actually talked to him, there could have been doors and opportunities open to me that
Yep.
I left on the table because of my attitude, because of who I thought I was. And I was nobody at that time. Way, way, like, had no podcast really going on. I was nothing. In fact, I think it was like right at the beginning of when I started working with the Action Sports Club. So I was nobody. I still am
Right.
nobody. But it hurts to think that I was that naive and ignorant and narcissistic to treat another person that way. I'm like, man. And since then, same thing. It's just like, no, I don't treat that. And that goes to building these relationships with companies and other riders. Like you said, you may not like a brand, and you know it's okay to not like another brand, but you don't have to hate the person because of that. You don't have to disrespect them because of
No.
that.
Yep.
Have some fun banter,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
I have,
Exactly.
another question for you, dude. Another question. Um, this question comes from a good buddy. I know it's a good buddy of yours. Uh, he says, "Want to play bumper sleds?" That,
Oh,
that
bumper
was
sleds, boy.
free.
Yeah. Oh, Shane Ulysses Nar Kelly. So when I first got into the industry, I rode a lot with Jesse O'Rourke, Anthony O'Berdy, and Shane Kelly up here, and we used to get these nasty bumper sleds where basically you were seriously trying to you were trying to ruin somebody's sled. You were trying to hurt them, and it was all for nothing. And Shane and I, boy, we had some good times up here with the bumper sleds. I mean, you would hit each other's sleds. Someone might hit a tree, and you don't stop. You just keep going. Like I won that one. You would slow down and try and roost the person behind you. And of course, O'Berty was always getting roosted on because I believe he had some weak 910 or a turbo that was kind of boggish back then. So Shane, I always rode the stock sleds, so you could roost on them pretty good. But yeah, those are that's still. I just did that with Stephen Darcy this last
Oh,
year,
oh.
and him and I damn near just totaled both sleds. I mean, it was both had a handful of throttle, no one was giving up, and at the last second, I can't remember if he went into the tree well or I went into the tree well, but yeah, it was a good one, but it's a blast. I mean, it's one
Yeah.
of my favorite things. Someone's gonna get hurt one of these times, probably Shane.
The guy's an animal. I've seen some stuff on his sled. He's an animal as well. Guy
Yeah,
can. He's a he's a hard one to track down. He's busy doing the summer, like during the summertime. That dude is busy.
he's fighting fires. He's and I think it's good for him because he's got to carry around that Titanic of a sled around during the wintertime. I mean, that big old skidoo. So he's got to work out to carry that thing around.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Oh man, who do you think pushes you the hardest in the crew in the group that you ride with? Who do you think pushes you the hardest?
Dan pushes me.
But
Dan pushes me really hard. Another one is when I ride with Darcy, Luke Quinn, Phil Wybar. I mean, there's Adam Onash, James Finsterwald, but those are some of the guys that push me hard. I mean, Dan is probably just because there's so much trash talk between him and I. With me being older, I mean, I'm old enough to be his dad. I could be his dad. And he gives you nothing. It doesn't matter if I drove all night and I slept 15 minutes and he slept all night. It doesn't matter to him. It doesn't matter if I was hurt. It doesn't matter if I was overweight. It doesn't matter to him. Like, it just is. So, yeah, him and Fatty was another one, when him and Fatty would get together, it would get kind of nasty, but yes, those were the guys.
that's the crew. Do you feel that having a crew that pushes you has really like has is there benefits to that? Do you feel that there's benefits to that?
Yeah. Yeah. Fatty was the guy that would say Smasher would do it. Dan would be the guy that says Smasher will do it. And then when I'd look at it, Dan would always say, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. But Fatty would be the one. We were in Canada one time, and we were up there filming with David off. And I was down riding with my buddy Charles Bluth, and we were just scouting around. Well, Stephen Darcy and Fatty were up top, and I don't have it up here. They had carved this drift out of the way, so it was a launch pad. Well, Darcy decided, hey, it didn't look good for him, and he didn't want to do it. So as I pulled up, Fatty was like, Smasher will do it. And I was like, do what? And Fatty said, just go. You're good. And David off was like, camera's rolling. And I was like, no, I got to look. And Fatty's like, no, you're fine. When I took off, no BS, like, oh, my Lord, I've got a picture of it somewhere. I don't know why it's not up on my wall, but it was a doozy. And Fatty's like, see, I told you. I told you it would work out, but
Yeah,
Dan,
yeah.
Dan was always the one with the brains that would say, hey, no shot's worth your life.
Yeah.
But Fatty would be like, come on, Smash, do it. You got this. Maybe secretly he's trying to end my life. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's like, I got a life insurance policy that I've taken out on.
Him and my wife.
Fun today.
Yeah.
Right.
So between the two of them, it was a good Nick Reedy was another one as time has gone on, that he's like, hey, Smash, can you do this or do that? But yeah.
Like, dude, it's one of those really cool things about competition sports. It's all sports, really. You can find the opportunity to grow and to push yourself when you find other people, when you find a crew that is willing to do it, and then you turn around and you do it for others. Like, everybody listening, if you're not part of a crew that's really pushing you, not saying that you shouldn't be with them, but if you're wanting to go to the next level or actually get somewhere with technique and skill, then you got to find people that are going to start pushing you. If you're fine where you're at, then stay there and enjoy it. Enjoy doing what you do, because we love this industry. We love riding. So just keep doing what you do. That's what's important. Let's just
be safe about it. You gotta ride within your means. Take your chances, but you gotta, push yourself when you feel it's ready. If you don't feel it, there's no shame in saying, hey man, I don't feel it. I've turned down a lot of drops over the years where I didn't feel it. Like the big one up there, right before that, Dan had picked out a drop, and I was like, I don't like it. I didn't want to do it. But this one was twice as big. And when I did it, Dan and Matt and Nick were like, well, what the hell? Why this one? I was like, I don't know. You just feel it. But if you don't, Don't push it. Nothing's worth it. Nothing. Just
Right.
because you did a 100-foot drop doesn't mean that Climb and Zebros, everybody else are going to come out and start throwing you stuff. Saying, "Oh, we need you." There's a million people that'll do that. You got to be that person. You got to be someone that's a good person out there that's willing to ride and show their product.
100%. Let's hang on that for a minute. When it comes to working with companies and like being sponsored, do you have to be the literal like the best athlete, best backcountry athlete to work with companies and be sponsored?
No, I'm not Kris Durant. I'm not Dan Adams. I'm not Keith Curtis. I'm not to their level. I don't ride enough, but no, I think it's about what are you giving back? What is in it? I just had, it's funny you brought that up. I just had a conversation with Dustin about this, and I think he said, you're a marker. You're a marker along the road. Okay, so Dan Adams has his marker. There's his way. Then there's Keith Curtis, and there's Matt Entz, and there's Chris Brandt. So everybody has a place in the industry, and it's just different what you offer. What do you have to offer? What is it that are you a good person? Are you willing to talk to kids? Are you willing to promote that product in the right way? Are you a good person? You a good dad, a good husband, a good brother, a good sister, so on and so forth. So, I mean, if you're out there and you can just destroy everything on a sled, but you're a nasty human being and you're out doing drugs or, failing out of school, or you can't hold a job and you're a total bum, then, if it was my company, I wouldn't want to sponsor you either. Doesn't matter about the writing. I mean, the writing's a small piece of it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I think to encompass like the whole picture for these companies, like you really do need to be this advocate that some kid can approach. Really, that kid could be the next Chris Durant. And they're like, you know what? Because Smasher uses Climb, rides Climb, I'm gonna ride Climb because he's so good to me. He was so kind and willing to talk to me, right? But if you're a complete like if you're not nice, if you're not kind, or if you're one way in front of the camera and completely different off the camera, like it eventually it catches up to you. There's people out there that are faking it. It catches up to them though. They disappear. They really do. But
Oh, absolutely.
when you're authentic, and that's what like the topic what you and I've had in the past, sort of the conversation about like the posting, right? If it's not authentic, good like authentic you, like you really want to put out because you feel that you're giving back to the companies, the ones that have been really promoting you and helping you get to where you're at today. Like the posts you feel need to reflect that. And posting stuff in the summertime has been kind of like that. I'm not getting the sledding in, the opportunity to share the brand as much as I am in the wintertime. And
Correct.
totally see that perspective. It's like we represent the companies that we love, and we want to be very good stewards of who we represent. And summertime, Smasher has his license plate that he makes sure everybody sees. But it is you got to represent in the summertime as well. Like that's
Yeah.
a great time to be doing. Keith Curtis, I just saw him a couple weeks ago at a race, at a hard enduro race, all climb gear. I mean, the dudes just climb through and through. You know,
Why would you leave Climb? I mean, seriously, why would you leave Climb? Honestly, I mean, I had Climb before I started in the industry, and I left Climb for a while, and now I'm back with Climb, and I mean, you know,
no reason. No, dude, I love it.
no.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, dude. We've got that was all the questions from people that have been or that did actually send some questions. So we only got a couple, but this was a lot of fun. This was cool to sit down with you again. I always enjoy it. I'm looking forward to hanging out during heydays. This time planning on staying longer, just not bailing as soon as I did. Um, last question for you, dude. What is the weirdest thing that you have seen come out of a muff pot?
The weirdest thing probably I want to say someone made a dessert one time,
Hmm.
and I want to say it was Kim Onash. I want to.
Somebody throws a cobbler in it, makes a
Yeah,
cobbler.
I want to
Right?
say it was. I want to say it was Kim, and she pulled out a dessert or something.
That's right,
I'm
Matt. Muff pots. Muff stuffer.
yeah, yeah, muff stuffers. Yep, that's him. Yeah, he's got some good muff stuffers. Yeah, they're the bomb. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think one time I was riding and they had, he makes like a tri-tip, and I think the first time I was riding with Eric Volk and he pulled it out and he had tri-tip bites. I was like, oh, that looks so good. And they're phenomenal. Like, that was so good. And potatoes, I was riding with a bunch of guys this year and I pulled out some of Matt's muff stuffers and everybody's like, what are you eating over there? And I was like, the tri-tip bites. And I think I had some sausages one time with some bell peppers. And yeah, you have a full meal out there.
Yeah, yes, I've seen it. For me, I used to have a hot dogger. I don't know if anybody's seen a hot dog. Oh, cobbler, that's right. I'm actually getting really hungry talking about food right now. But I had an old hot dogger. It was used when I got it, and I was like, it's a hot dogger, so I got to put hot dogs in it. So I put hot dogs in it, and put buns in the back. Like when you used to have, there was an old ZX chassis, so it had that little glove compartment in the back seat. So I threw my glove or threw the buns in there. By the time I got to them, the buns were like destroyed, smashed, and nasty. And I pulled the hot dogs out, and they were dark. They were a dark color, and it wasn't because they were browned from the heat. It was because they had like oil and smoke and all sorts of stuff inside of that hot
Yeah.
dog. I was like, this is nasty. So I
Well,
just straight
Kale said,
rubbed it off and I threw it in my mouth anyways and ate it. And I was like, oh man,
well, yeah, you got nothing else to eat. Kale
yeah,
said s'mores. That would be good. That's a good idea.
yeah, yeah.
S'mores.
Kind of
I
like
could, I
those
could.
banana boats, those uh, tinfoil dinner banana boats.
Oh, yeah, yeah. One of my favorite things to put in there is
Little Smokies,
uh,
another good one.
no, oh, well, that's a good one.
Yes.
No, egg rolls. Love egg rolls.
Really?
Yeah, egg rolls. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I wanted to tell you something that you were talking about. There's new and upcoming. When I went to Alaska, there's some kids up there that can ride.
Hmm.
They're obviously younger than me, but they're all into the flips and the whips. And there's a couple of kids that up there, they're 12, 13 years old, and and I talked to them a lot about that, about how to do their social media and post. And one kid actually was going for CNA Pro skis, I think, and he was asking for a reference, and I said absolutely. So I've been helping the kids out, but there's some kids up there that can ride, and with social media, the sky is the limit. You keep posting enough stuff, and you be doing, and oh, gross, hot pockets, Dustin, seriously.
I've done
Ugh.
that too. I remember, or burritos. I've done
Oh,
burritos, frozen burritos.
burritos are good, but not hot pockets. That's like a poor man's food, dude. You ride with me, you're not eating hot pockets. Jeez. I was supposed to say something about his podcast today, but I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember too much anymore. I think I bonked my head too many times.
I feel you, brother. I feel you. No, that's cool. There's the young people coming up, and when you have an individual like yourself that has some notoriety in the community and like the snow community, to be able to represent somebody, like even getting to that level for yourself is really cool, because then, like I said earlier, like people really start coming to you and actually looking at you on another level, and like, hey, this individual, I can build this relationship with him now. I can uh, use him as a reference. And so it sounds like that's what that kid did, and it it can really help somebody in their career and building opportunities. And so I think back to what I said earlier, I think people just are too afraid. They're too afraid to ask. They're way too afraid to approach them and actually start the conversation and build a relationship. I know I
And
was.
with social media, I think that's made it easier. Like I try and leave no rock unturned when it comes to someone that has hit me up on Instagram or Facebook Messenger or something like that. I try and answer anybody's question that maybe they're the next big deal or whatever. But I remember when before I was in the industry and trying to hit up like my son was big into Jay Quinlan. And I can remember trying to get Jay Quinlan's autograph for my son, and I kept getting ghosted and ghosted and ghosted. And I always thought, what, if I ever make it, I won't ever ghost anybody, and I'll always sign, or I'll send whatever I can, to do, because maybe it's that one kid just has that dream.
Mhm.
It's always just that. I mean, you can't touch everybody, but the snowmobile industry is so small, and it's so easy just to put something in the mail for somebody to ship it out. And if they're a fan of mine, man, that's what's keeping me going. So if I'm a jerk and I keep ignoring people, eventually, my time's going to run out, and I'm not ready for my time to run out. This is just a sport that I absolutely love, and I want to keep putting forth as much effort. So, those kids in Alaska, if I could touch one of them and I can help them, maybe it's that's their dream. Maybe it's their dream.
I like it, dude. I'm so excited for you that you've had these opportunities to go do that and actually make a difference in some of these kids' lives. You're making a difference in adults' lives as well. I think I sent you that email that I got from them, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I love hearing the goods that come from this industry, the wins that we all have. I don't think we share them enough. I think we focus way too much on uh, the look at me side of it rather than,
Mm-hmm.
hey, it's an actual win that we all can share together as a community. And I mean, I love it. Oh, look at that. Kale still has a shirt signed from a Washington Snow Show sticker party. Oh, sticker
You know,
party.
I just had someone send me a picture of them, and they were when they were a kid, and now they're a teenager, of a poster I signed for me, and I lost the post, and I was trying to get a hold of him, but it was really cool. Like I lost the picture of him, and I wanted to post it, but yeah, that touched my heart. That was kind of cool.
That's awesome. Shane, I already asked your question. I know you're just showing up, but I already asked your question. He he raised,
I told him that I've destroyed you every time, Nar. You still can't beat me, and I am getting a little older, so you might have your chance now. I think Shane he might be 30, so I've got 20. I mean, he could be my grandson.
yeah, I think he's right. Yeah, he's close to pretty sure he was close to my age. I'm 32,
Yeah.
so I know he was close to my age. And I met Shane, I think when I was hanging out with Zach, I think that was 2018 is when I met Shane. Yes, time's gone by fast.
Too fast. Too
40.
fast.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, dude, what shows are you headed to this year? What's the plan and what's
I'll
going on?
be at Heyday. I'll be at Heydays. Um,
He's, that's right, he's older than me.
I'll be at Heydays, and I think this year I'm just gonna be selling Boondockers swag. We'll have shirts, hats, probably some banners. I'll have some posters, of course, from Climb, and I'll be in the Climb booth, and then I'll be at the Denver Snow Show with Vogue, um, and then I'll probably go to the Utah show just to go hang out for a little while, and then probably go dirt biking with and get my butt kicked by Dirty Devin and Brandon Archibald, and I think Ryan Harris might come this time, and Mason
Cool. That's fun.
and Matt Ince. Yeah, they worked me pretty good last year. I thought I was a halfway decent dirt biker, and whew, man. Now that's a sport. That's a sport I wish I would have got into 15 years earlier. Like I love snowmobiling, but dirt biking is it's something special. Like that's a really cool sport. I just never got into it because growing up in Alaska, I mean, that's all I did was ride a quad. So I ate a lot of dust over the years. I never wanted to do it again. And so now getting back into it, and especially with my boys and my youngest son really riding, um, dirt biking's cool. It takes so much skill and so much endurance. And I've learned a lot. Like I've been practicing just because I got my butt handed to me last year pretty good.
Good.
Tough
Well,
dog, tough old dog.
I haven't had a chance to get on a bike consistently for years. I'm gonna be hopefully changing that soon. Coming up.
Do it.
Yep.
Do it. Do it.
To
It's
beat
such a cool it's just a cool sport. It's just so much fun until you break ribs with Matt and Kim and Adam at Moab. That was just a drag. When I do ride with Dustin though, I do feel good about myself. I mean, that makes me happy.
that's good. I like that, dude.
So those are the three shows to answer your question. Those are the three shows I'll be at.
Okay. Well, hopefully I'll be able to make out. I know Heydays is the plan, is in the books right now. Possibly Salt Lake. Denver. I haven't been to Denver yet, so I'll still look that. Cow tag with you guys. Nice. That's another one. That's another ride that I would love to go see. I was talking to Dustin about it. I was like, he told me some more about the cow tags and how they all started. I was like, that's a fun ride. That's cool. And it's for a good purpose. Like, it's a good cause.
That's what got me back into dirt biking was doing that.
Oh,
I went
really?
to the cow. Yeah, I went to the cow tag ride. I don't even know 9 years ago, 8 years ago, whenever maybe Dustin could say when it started back up. So I went and I was on a 450, a CRF 450, and that was miserable. And so then the next year I went on the 350, and then as soon as my boys started riding, that's been my whole dream, is to do it with my son. So my son will be 18 next year, so he could legally do it and sign up and get
Nice.
his own tag. So that I think that was the event that brought it all together.
Perfect. That's cool, dude. I'm glad. I'm glad you're. I mean, I know your license plate won't change anytime soon, but
No.
I'm glad that you still get to see the dusty side of things and how fun it is. Oh man, Smashers has been a lot of fun. Everybody listening, if you haven't listened to some of Smasher's not old, I shouldn't say that because past. Let's say past.
Yeah.
His past podcast episodes with me. You can go check him out. The Action Sports Podcast. We have a website you guys can go check out or listen to it anywhere you guys listen to podcasts. There's been some great content that he's been dropping. We're going to be there's an announcement that he's going to be releasing to everybody, and after he does, then we'll schedule another podcast probably later after that and actually do it in person, because I think we're going to work our hardest to get these things back in person. This is a lot of fun doing it live. I think this has been a lot of fun having people show up, ask questions, and do this. I think this has been a good time.
Yep. And I'll probably announce it right at Heydays or right at during Heydays. I'll announce, and I actually have another announcement too. I got a couple and I just want to make sure that they're all panning out the way they are. And
good.
But yeah, it's like I said, man. Ever since the Alaska trip, just seems like the doors are opening, and so I'm gonna go with it.
Say yeah.
I'm 26. I'm 26. I got a few more years. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna see how long I can ride this.
I like it, dude. I like it. All right, man. Thanks so much for your time, dude. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Okay, man. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
See ya. Bye.
Later, brother.